Breaking news tonight, we now know that another child has died after an elementary school shooting earlier today in Uvalde, Texas. That brings the total number of deaths to 19 students and 2 adults who were killed by a gunman at Robb Elementary School today. The gunman has also died after he was shot by police. This is video from the scene earlier today as families waited outside the elementary school. Heartbroken families wept as the situation continued to unfold. Many frantic parents this afternoon were unable to reunite with their children as they went to various locations to try to track them down, including a father who, as of earlier tonight, was still not able to find his daughter.
Yeah, I'm looking for my daughter. I mean, after the shooting, they don't know where she's at. I mean, the list, her name is not here, you know, and we don't know a list of who's gotten flown out. And you're not letting us in at the hospital right now. So we don't know where to go.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 11 tonight. Several other students and adults are currently being treated at the hospital tonight for injuries. CBS News' Aaron Jones is sharing more on what we know so far about the shooting.
It's hard to believe that there were parents who dropped their students off here at the school just like any other day, only for something so tragic to occur. You can see multiple law enforcement agencies here behind me today, parents describing an absolutely horrific scene. The shooting started shortly after 11:30 a.m. at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, a town roughly 85 miles west of San Antonio.
He shot and killed horrifically, incomprehensibly.
Investigators identified the suspect as 18-year-old Salvador Ramos, a high school senior from Uvalde.
He himself is deceased and is believed that responding officers killed him.
2 of those officers were wounded and are expected to survive.
We are not actively looking for another individual or any other suspects in this case.
Parents and family members rushed to the school and local hospitals looking for loved ones. This woman is looking for her niece.
We have not yet gotten any answers of where her whereabouts are at.
It happened less than 2 weeks after a gunman shot 10 people dead at a Buffalo, New York supermarket. President Biden addressed the tragedy after returning to the White House from Japan.
To lose a child is like having a piece of your soul ripped away.
Tuesday's tragedy was the deadliest school shooting in Texas history and the worst in the U.S. since a gunman killed 26 at Sandy Hook Elementary in Connecticut in 2012. And today we learned students were actually supposed to celebrate their last day of school on Thursday, but now, of course, classes have been canceled for the rest of the year. CBS News, Aaron Jones in Uvalde.
This evening, both Washington and Idaho governors are reacting to this horrific shooting in Texas. We'll start in Idaho, where Governor Brad Little tweeted tonight, "Our country is grieving the victims of today's horrific shooting in Texas. As a grandpa of school-aged children, this news is heartbreaking. The families and all those affected will be strengthened by our prayers as they cope with this awful tragedy." Meanwhile, Washington Governor Jay Inslee tweeted this afternoon, "This cannot be what normal looks like in America. Trudy and I are devastated with the news of yet another violent tragedy. Our hearts are with the victims' families and the community of Uvalde."
This means risks every place in the country, risks in businesses, risks in every place you go, whether it's to church on Sunday or whether it's to the mall on Saturday or whether your kid goes to school.
And while we are continuing to track this shooting tonight, a new FBI report finds that active shooter attacks are on the rise, up more than 50% in 2021 from the year before. The FBI reports 61 incidents last year, up more than 50% from 2020 and up nearly 100% over 4 years. The new report shows active shooter incidents span 30 states, and 12 of the incidents were considered mass killings, including last year's supermarket attack in Boulder, Colorado, that killed 10 people. Well, for more information on the Robb Elementary School shooting, just head to our website, krem.com, for the very latest information. And coming up in just about 5 minutes, we'll share how you can talk with your children about these tragedies. In other news this evening, Lewis and Clark High School says it'll do more to make sure students and their vehicles are better protected in the parking lot beneath I-90. Kyle Simchuk shows us what steps they are taking.
Earlier this month, a Lewis and Clark High School student, Leilani Santiago, actually scheduled a meeting with students, parents, and Spokane cops to find out what can be done to increase safety around this parking lot and the school in general.
The goal today is to inform everyone about what has been done, what is being done, and brainstorm ideas for what can be done.
Leilani herself had her car broken into a while back and says thieves actually poured Mountain Dew into her gas tank, causing thousands of dollars worth of damage. Well, it appears her concerns got the attention of Lewis and Clark principal Ivan Corley. Yesterday, he sent a letter to families thanking them for bringing these concerns. He says the school is working with the Washington Department of Transportation to do a few things. They want to add more lighting, security cameras, and install signs. The school also plans to increase parking lot patrols during and after school hours, and they're also exploring the idea of putting in some emergency call stations. Lewis and Clark is the only high school in Spokane that doesn't have its own parking lot. The school actually leases this property from the Washington Department of Transportation. Leilani called the news a positive update. Reporting in downtown Spokane, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
Also new tonight, Idaho State Police say a child was killed near downtown Coeur d'Alene this afternoon. Authorities say an SUV pulling a small trailer struck the child in an alley near 11th Street and Bancroft, killing the child. That incident happened at around 4 p.m. and is still being investigated. We will continue to follow this developing story. Now to our night beat with a quick look at today's top stories. Today, a student at Sunset Elementary School in Airway Heights brought a gun to school in their backpack. That's according to a letter sent home to parents. That student reportedly showed the gun to several students, according to that letter obtained by KREM 2. The letter also states the student had the gun in their backpack and showed it to another student on the school bus. Then they showed it to other children at school. 2 students reportedly then told an adult about the weapon, and staff was then able to secure the gun. The school said today's incident was, quote, very serious and unsettling. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. An extradition hearing is scheduled for the man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend in Moses Lake. According to court records, Juan Gastelum will be in an Oregon court tomorrow facing an extradition order, and that order was issued by Washington Governor Jay Inslee. Gastelum is accused of killing Yanira Cedillos, his ex-girlfriend. Her body was found in a remote area in Walla Walla County off Highway 12, stuffed inside a sleeping bag. Once extradited, he will face murder charges in Grant County. The Spokane County Medical Examiner is taking a closer look at 6 older cases. 2 of the deaths have already been reclassified, including the death of Kayla Williams. The medical examiner changed Williams' cause of death from undetermined to homicide. Williams was found dead in a wooded area southwest of Spokane back in 2012. The medical examiner said at the time Williams was found, the medical examiner was unable to determine the exact cause of death. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word night to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them directly to your phone. All right, let's talk weather, shall we? Today we saw some pretty nice conditions compared to yesterday's thunderstorms. We have still, though, not hit 70 degrees yet this year. Let's get outside to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. Jeremy, 70s, though, still in the forecast this week, right?
I heard a plural on there, Mark, and unfortunately, it's not plural for us here in Spokane, but get this, we're still pretty warm. Mid-50s here across much of the inland northwest, and we have an attempt at some showers. See this little band of moisture right there? As that moves in, a lot of that is not reaching the ground. Basically how this works is we have a very dry layer of the atmosphere, so as the rain comes down, it basically evaporates. You've heard us talk about Virga quite a lot. If it were light out, you would see that it is not reaching the ground. As it moves through, that's basically about it. A couple of stray sprinkles tomorrow morning are possible, but for the most part, it's that dry atmosphere kind of drying it out. We'll stay mostly cloudy throughout the day, and even as we get into the day on Thursday, with temperatures staying on the mild side, but not quite 70 just yet.
All right, Jeremy, sounds good. Thank you very much. Well, tonight was Bark in the Park at Avista Stadium. People could enjoy a Spokane Indians game alongside their furry friends. Both dogs and their owners could watch the game for just $5, and they could sit in a special pet-only section. And something pretty neat associated with this, the dog ticket proceeds are fully going toward local animal shelters. A very cool deal right there. Another Idahoan is facing time in jail for her participation in the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C. A judge sentenced Pamela Hemphill to 60 days in jail. Her sentencing hearing was earlier this morning. Hemphill also faces 3 years of probation and has to pay $500 in restitution. She pleaded guilty to demonstrating, parading, or picketing in the U.S. Capitol building. It's a misdemeanor charge. Hemphill will voluntarily surrender at a later date. The Bureau of Prisons has not designated where she will be held. Well, don't go to bed just yet. We are continuing to cover the mass shooting out of Texas tonight. After the break, we hear from a mental health professional on how to talk to your kids about tragedies. We are back in just 90 seconds.